Lucy, could you do roll call and establish the quorum?
Stephanie Tibbetts.
Here.
Frankie Schwartz.
Here.
Rich Barton.
Here.
Jeffrey Snyder.
Here.
Carolyn Sprague.
Here.
And Keith Harbison.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Lucy. Next item of business is to amend or adopt the agenda. Someone would like to make a motion?
I move we adopt the agenda as presented. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The agenda is adopted as presented. All right, we'll start off with recognitions right off the bat.
I'll read them, you present.
Yes,
That's good.
that'd be great.
Okay, so with us, we have our wrestlers that qualified for state, which is an amazing honor and accomplishment. I mean, everyone should be really, really proud of that. And we're really couldn't be more proud of all of our athletes. So I think we're going to let the voice of the Warriors announce the kids. If you guys want to come up, we'll get a group picture, and we'll put it out and celebrate you guys and congratulate you. And thanks for all your hard work to the coaches, the parents, the students. It's really phenomenal accomplishment. So way to go, guys.
Okay.
All right, President Schneider's gonna come down there to the podium there, so when I call your names up, if you'll come on up and shake some hands, and we'll get individual pictures, but then we'll get a group picture here as well. So parents, if you wanna come up and take the individual picture, you're more than welcome to. First of all, congratulations to the coaching staff. I see many of you here tonight. So you guys are fantastic, and it's always fun to watch. If you've never been to a wrestling match, I encourage you to do so one day. Back in the day, I asked Coach Fowler, to let me coach one match, and he did. Let me sit on the side on one of the chairs down on the floor, and I decided that night that I was retiring after my first match because I would have had a heart attack. So I've never seen anything so intense for 3 2-minute rounds. Even the other day when I came up to districts, and I'm over there and I'm watching some of these guys, and some of them had their 100th win that night and so forth like that. What an exciting time! I mean, it's just, and you walk in that gym and it's just full. I mean, it's crazy the energy in that, and organized, and 3 matches going on at the same time, and it's intense. And you guys do a great job, and I've heard nothing but great things about Coach Arnett, Coach Cooper, and the whole staff that did hosted the districts, because that's a big undertaking, and for our kids to do such a good job. So the first one here is for our girls, Melanie Guerrero. And she's here. Meredith Donovan. Vivian Grooms. Dakota Lorman. And Allison Bachik. Hey, all great kids. I will tell you this. They are fantastic representatives of our school district and families in our community. And it's a lot of fun to watch them. So for our fellows here, we have Zayden Tisan. Max Tisan. Nathan Donovan. Colton Tinker. Corbin Johnson. Daniel McChristy. Yay! Marion Fulton, I know he's here.
Coach Olson, I'll send you these individual pictures and you can send our families.
All the coaches will start making their way up here. We'll get the guys in and coach. If you guys want to come get a picture with them too, yeah. I think coaches are a big part of this. If you don't know, the wrestling program has been around for quite a few years now. I remember when I was the head basketball coach. When I was the head.
Good for Jake.
Come on, coaches. I was the head basketball coach back in the '90s, and we had an assistant. We had a superintendent that loved wrestling. And he wanted to start wrestling. And so he came to me as the basketball coach, and how do you think, Coach Barton, how would you feel if we'd start a wrestling program here? How would that affect your basketball program? I said, trust me, if we have a kid that's playing basketball, wants to wrestle, he needs to wrestle. And it's not going to affect us. Well, we were very supportive of that. And, so it's been around for a long time, and one of our strongest programs for sure, consistent year in and year out. But that doesn't go unnoticed because these coaches put the time in. If you don't believe me, go up there any night of the week. He's got coaches at all levels, and even some of our former wrestlers like Tony Pico runs the program out of Red City, does a great job, and just wrestling's big around here, and we're really proud of all the kids and all the coaches. Next, we have softball, Academic All-State. We have a couple of them here. Ms. Brooke Baxter. We have Lindy Miller. Or Anna Gibson. Want to take a picture?
Way to go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Academic All-State, if you don't know what that is, each sport has an academic all-state program, and it's really a high honor. I mean, you have to have certain, it's not just, oh, we think they're good at school. They have to have certain statistics and so forth. They have to play in some of these the matches and so forth, or whatever sport we're talking about. I was very proud. Both my students, or both my kids, were both academic all-state in basketball. And, I was very proud of that. So congratulations, that's a big honor. And the school, community, and family, we're very proud of you, and the school board. Thank you, guys.
Welcome to stay for the meeting. But if you'd like to go, feel free to hit on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never gives us that opportunity.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Always fun to recognize the outstanding achievements of the district. That's awesome. So next item of business is the public comments. Do we have any patron comments? So we can move right past that one into item number 1 of new business, which is the issuing of bonds.
So we've got Brandon from LJ Hart here to walk us through $10 million.
Oh. Wait, we need to click on grant.
Sorry.
That's all. Thanks for having me. Usually Tom Zarkowitz takes care of this, but he has the pleasure of driving to Florida for spring break with his kids. So I don't know if I'd rather be in that car or here. So I'll call tomorrow when he'll call from the beach. I'll be a little jealous.
I'm gonna have to turn, I'm gonna have to tell you.
That's okay.
Just tell me when you need me to turn it.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely gonna be a little jealous on Monday when it's
Yeah,
9:30.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll get into it. I know we've been through this a few times, so I'm not gonna be too long-winded. But again, from LJ Hart and Company, if you go to that next slide, again, I just put some marketing information in there, and we've worked as the municipal bond underwriter for the district since 1995. In that time, done about $170 million worth of bonds, so this is just an add-on to that. Again, this is the 3rd installment of that $45 million that was passed back in 2024. So the first one, $9.5 million, then 20 last year. This is that $10 million. And you'll still have $5.5 million outstanding to issue kind of when that next year, really, or when that cash flow accommodates it. So we are a wholly owned subsidiary of Commerce Bank. We always say that. Is it working? Awesome. Just a quick update on the municipal market. It's crazy right now. In the past 2 weeks or so, we've seen about a 25 to 30 basis point movement upwards. And so usually when a world event happens or something happens like what's happening in the Middle East, usually interest rates tend to go down. That's not happening right now. So right now, they have gone up again about 25, depending on if it's a 2-year rate versus a 20-year rate, it kind of varies. The volatility is really on the short end, not necessarily on the long end. So it's a little crazy right now. Again, I don't think that we're going to be putting these bonds in the market right away just because of that volatility right now. Okay, with the graph up there, just kind of pointing out, the green line was when we did the last issuance of the $20 million of bonds. Again, that was really on the long end, so you can see that long, I'd say that 15 to 20 years, really hasn't moved up a whole lot. It's, again, the movement has been on that short-term interest rates with the Fed cutting rates a couple times this last year. And then really highlighting that red line now, interest rates on the long end have not gone up. So even though they are a little hectic and it's crazy again, that volatility is really on that short end and not necessarily on the long end. So still in a good position because most of the bonds in this structure, again, are 19 to 20 years out. Okay. I do highlight this just to show you what LJ Hart has done with the district since '95. Again, I kind of went over that. It's a little grainy, tough to see, sorry. But really the highlights are on the right-hand side. But it is a 20-year financing total. Again, the closing date that I had on this was early in April. That may be pushed back depending on when we decide to go out to market as far as when we think it's a little less crazy in the market. So 20-year financing structured to blend with existing payments. So you do have principal payments from 2030 out to 2046, but really the bulk of it, $7.9 million, is occurring in 2045 and 2046, again, that 19 and 20-year plan. The interest rate is at 5% again. The yield is on that next column. So these will be sold at a premium as well, hoping to get a little bit more upfront money for your issuance. So really underneath that, the highlights, $10 million. What I have is estimated reoffering premium again. That will fluctuate up or down. $350,580. The cost of issuance, $123,580, which would leave you funds in the deposit or the construction fund of $10.226 million. And when you look at that as a whole on the $39.5 million, that would be $40,323,062 upfront funding for that project. Okay. Again, this will have a AA+ rating. That is the program rating. We did get an affirmation of the A+ underlying rating for the district. With S&P, I tried to bargain with them, tried to put in a good word as far as the data center that's coming in, and really the good things that are happening within the district. They're slow to change, so it's probably going to take getting that data center in here, getting a year or two of payments in before they really realize what's happening, and then they look to upgrade your rating. So for right now, A+ rating underlying is great. It just seems like with that trending that way, it should move upwards. And then this will have a 5-year call feature on it. So again, your last two issuances have had that. This will be a 5-year call, so March 1, 2031. At any time, you can refinance to lower those rates at no penalty. Okay, the last thing is really just the cash flow, and I know we go through this every time, but is that this is assuming the $10 million, the debt service levy staying at 65 cents, and then 2.5% in annual growth. Again, that totally changes, with the data center. I'm not assuming that. I'm assuming 2.5%. So you can see your total revenue coming in right now is about really close to $3 million. And then on your far right-hand side there, your total payments, anywhere from about 3.3 upwards on the back side of about $4.3 million. There's a little swing there. And then balances are in that middle red column. Your balances aren't getting too high, but again, they're not getting too low where you're in a cash flow difficulty there. And again, we're structuring it this way because we don't know right now the impact on the data center, right, from assessed valuation purpose. So this is the way that fits cash flow as it is. Once that happens and your assessed valuation really starts to jump, that's when you can start to take advantage of those 5-year call features and start to pay off your debt a little quicker. Okay. I do have, I posted in there sent it to Dr. Clinsmith, the resolution. Again, same thing as what Tom has had in the past here, because we don't have investors lined up to purchase, basically a parameters resolution to put together that committee of the board president, Dr. Clinsmith, and then Tom to lock in interest rates when investors are ready and lined up. And so basically the bond yield for arbitrage purposes in that, so that is that parameter that we cannot go over, was on page 5 of section 2.2. but it is 4.65% on the bond yield for arbitrage purposes. Right now, I think that is at, I think it was at 4.45. So again, with these kind of a little wavy issues with the market, we have a little flexibility there, but again, I don't think it's right now that we're going to send that out to market. So in the resolution, it also mentions section 3.1, the 5-year call feature, it spells it out in there. And then that you'll obviously continue to submit your continuing disclosure for your obligations to the MSRB. And then it spells out that committee that we formed. So any questions for me?
I would just add on that our cash flow for the project right now, we're doing okay. We have about 10 million right now cash, so we can go a couple months even if we had to, and still have plenty of cash flow to do this. So we can kind of rely on that expertise of LJ Hart to know when to move, but we don't have to do it right now. It's not like, hey, we need this tomorrow, they're waiting on a check from us. No, we've got a little bit of time.
It's a good spot to be.
Questions?
This is not a so moved kind of motion, so
No.
I would make the motion if you like, and I'll read it.
That'd be
because
perfect.
That's the only I can do. So. Yes, I like to read. I move authorizing and directing the issuance and delivery of not to exceed $10 million principal amount of general obligation bonds, Missouri Direct Deposit Program, Series 2026 of Warren County R3 School District, Missouri, prescribing the form and details of said bonds, providing for the levy and collection of an annual tax for the purpose of paying the principal of and interest on the bonds as they become due, authorizing the district to participate in the direct deposit program administered by the Health and Education Facilities Authority, the state of Missouri, to support payment of the bonds, authorizing the establishment of a final terms committee and fixing the time when this resolution shall become effective.
A motion has been made and seconded, authorizing and directing the issuance and delivery of not to exceed $10 million of general obligation bonds, and all the other detail that eloquently read for us. Any further questions or discussion? Great, well, we will move on to vote. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Appreciate it. Thanks for reading that. I went to a meeting a month ago that they had to read the whole thing, so the whole entire resolution.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Out loud, and I thought about that all.
So you need some signatures tonight.
Not tonight, because all the agreements have been, those are from previous issuances, so whenever they get locked in, I'll back all those documents at that time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great,
Eric.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Moving on to superintendent reports. I think we'll start with special education.
Yes, we have Dr. Amy here to give us special education and gifted.
Thank you. Thank you. Where are we starting?
We're doing sped first.
Okay. I can get that packet on time. Guys, it's good to be back here. My 6th year presenting, 3rd year in this position, and I am excited to share some great things happening in the special education world. Our presentation is minimal in the pictures. Our information that we shared in our report is really showing some really strong work in what we've been doing. So we're still focusing our work around data and making sure that we are using that to inform our decisions around student services, all of the things that are coming along in the SPED world. And this year in particular, we wanted to work with our teachers on treating themselves in any way that they can, because this work is stressful and very rewarding. So we've done a few things. One thing is our SPED office team. We have the same 7 of us for 2 years in a row now, which has really helped streamline some systems. And we have our quarterly newsletter that goes out to actually all staff, SPED and Gen Ed. So every building, all staff reads all information that comes from our office. We were trying this year to make sure we're bridging that conversation between special education, general education, admin, sports staff, everybody involved. So everybody gets to see all the information. We also have really worked this year on trying to make our PD time that we have together quality time. Our teachers last year requested some specific topics for professional development, so we brought in our RPDC consultants from the area for 3 of our PD days to come in and provide some professional development. And we've also had some of our team, the picture in the middle is 2 of our high school teachers that have gone, while PBIS and the behavior systems in schools is not necessarily special education, it does support those tier 1 programs that feed into our conversations in special education. And so they presented over the summer, and we were asked to present at the PBIS conference for our systems that we have in place. So just a little something to share. And then again, those are our partnerships that we work with each year. But just a couple of notable items for special education. Our current vacancies, as far as the positions we're hoping to fill, is very few in special education, which isn't the norm. So we're very happy that the positions that we need to serve our students are, for the most part, filled. And we appreciate the board and all of their support as we work on making sure all of our students' needs are met. Just a couple of quick goals. Our office really strives to make sure that all of our DESE reporting is completed on time 100%, and we've been able to meet that goal. They may kick back for some updates and things throughout the year, but we're reporting all of our reports on time 100%. We are coming up on another file review year, so we had 99.4% accuracy and compliance on our last file review 3 years ago, and we're hoping for 100. So that is the goal this year, or actually we'll file that next year. And next year, our goal as far as special education is going to be focused around some embedded PD and coaching for our teachers. Nearly all of our teachers are going to be going through some curriculum training next year, and so our time in person with our SPED staff is going to be minimal because they need to be there, and we're excited that they're included in that training. So our office is going to try to shift how we're providing their PD, so it's more kind of embedded coaching model supporting them in their practices day to day. So we'll see how that works. The other positives, just a couple, are that the number of students that are being referred to our office for testing and the percentage of students that are tested and qualified, the gap is kind of narrowing. So in the past, we would have a high number of students that would be referred for testing, and we may be testing a high number of them, but very few were qualifying. Now, after 3 years, we're up to, of the students who are tested, evaluated for special services, 68% of them are qualifying, which is a testament to the buildings and their hard work that they've done on those tier 1 systems and interventions, and the work of the SPED office team in getting that data and having those conversations. So we're really happy and appreciate the hard work of the building. The other thing just to note that's been positive, every year DESE puts out some data on how our district compares with each disability category and the overall percentage of students with an IEP. And we have managed in the categories that we were over the state average. We may still be over the state average by a little, but we've decreased that every year for 2 years. And then our overall incident rate has gone down as well, from about 18.34% 3 years ago to about 15.95%. So, and that's not to say students are not receiving services. It is that our buildings are reaching them before they need those special education services. So we appreciate all of their hard work and partnership. Any questions about special education or special services? Okay. As Lucy is pulling up our gifted program, so this falls under the Office of Special Services as well.
Actually, did have a question.
Yes. Yeah.
So you said that they were stepping in and they were reaching, they were getting help before, like, they needed it. So talk to me a little bit about what you mean.
Yeah, yes. So when students are struggling, the ideal scenario is they receive help in their gen ed classroom first. If that's not working, then they're receiving building level interventions. That could look like Title I support, instructional support, teacher support. It varies per building. And so what's happening is the ripple effect of that is because the buildings are intervening sooner, they're making progress and kind of closing that gap. So there are not as many that are needing special education. So that could be reading programs with their Title I teachers or their instructional support staff. It could be behavior intervention supports through their counselor, emotional support counselor, administrators, general education staff. So they're putting in kind of like the foundation work so that by the time they reach our office through a referral, we know that the buildings have done kind of A, B, and C before we need to see if special education is the need for that student.
And if they get enough early intervention, then sometimes they don't need to be referred to special ed services. If they get caught up enough through all of those building efforts, then maybe they will never need to go to the special ed class.
So maybe this is me not being knowledgeable, but do you have to have a disability to be in special education, or is it just struggle?
So the state has eligibility criteria in different categories. And so each of those categories are in the report that I created for you guys. And each category has specific criteria they have to meet. So essentially, the big idea is that they require specialized instruction.
Okay.
So that's beyond what happens in the general education classroom. What we've tried there isn't working enough, so they need a little bit more. So yes, they have to qualify for special education by the state standards in order to get that. I could talk about special education all day. Okay, so the gifted program, I'll also share about, they've been doing some great things this year. We've got 2 amazing gifted teachers with us who've really worked hard to streamline the program. They've got some great goals in mind for the upcoming year. Our program size has stayed about the same. Our elementary program has about 71 students. Our secondary program has about 76 students. Both of those include students that attend from Holy Rosary. They have worked really hard on updating handbooks, practices, and got some great goals outlined for the coming year. Our elementary program wants to create some online screeners. So some of the tests that they take down the road are online. And so they're wanting to create some online practice screeners to help them with just getting familiar with those computer-based assessments. And then creating an online system or storage system for the testing. So each of our first graders are screened for the Discovery program, and so that naturally leads to a lot of paperwork. So we're working with our Infinite Campus program to create that so that we always have access to that. The secondary program is going to work on streamlining some Discovery projects and assignments along with the Missouri Gifted Learner Outcomes, so there's some direct alignment with those standards. The pictures that I have here show some really great work. The first 2 were from our elementary program, and I'll just brag on Mrs. Kruger for a minute. She created a Discovery Open House series earlier this year, and so it was, we have our open houses at the elementary level, and oftentimes, because kids come from different buildings, sorry, that's my alarm. Kids come from different buildings, and so they don't always get to go to open house in her classroom and see that. So she created an evening or a couple of evenings so that those families can come and see the great work that's happening in her classroom, and had a great response from that too. And then the secondary program, Mr. Berry took his 8th graders to Mizzou Engineering. They got to tour the campus, they got to talk to some staff, have lunch in the dining hall. The 7th graders got to design an original game so that they could play each other and kind of give some feedback and evaluate. And then the 6th graders made some Rube Goldberg machines to help with daily living skills. So they're doing great work. I'm so sorry for that. Any questions that you guys have?
I have one question, one comment. My question is, at the middle school, is it currently a daily class or a pull-out?
They are pulled out, sorry, they are pulled out, yes.
Okay.
The middle school has been talking the last couple of years about shifting that. There's some
It's
logistics that have to do with electives.
It's
but-
been done both ways.
Yeah.
So many different times. I just wondered what was current now.
Yeah.
And then the one comment I want to make is I am so so excited that you all are screening all the first graders. Because we would always have trouble finding, kids early like that. And hopefully that's catching kids earlier than mid in some cases. And also, it's really hard for teachers to know who to refer for testing. Sometimes they don't always have all the knowledge and skills it takes to identify a gifted kid. And so it's great that we're screening everybody. That's been needed for so long.
It's very helpful, and I think the parents appreciate it.
Yeah, I would hope so. And it doesn't single anybody out there either, you know, like you just screen everybody. Everybody has that opportunity, so.
And then there's opportunity for rescreening down the road if
Yeah.
parents request or things like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Also, I need to tell you that I love the quarterly report, and I love that you're putting it at all the schools.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Okay, I get, next up, we have the Alpha program.
That's right, so we have Ms. Alfred here for her final board
We
report. So congratulations on
really
retirement in the
approved
year.
that.
Sad for us.
I don't remember for that.
I don't know.
Welcome to the club.
Good evening, everyone. And, thank you for having us. North Academy. So the,
To the right.
to the right, okay. I was speaking. So our mission has always remained the same, to serve students and reaching their full potential in a non-traditional setting. And for the last 5 years, that's pretty much what we focused on. The ways to get into Alpha has still remained the same, with Alpha Academy being an extension of the high school. All applicants go through the high school counselors and admin, and ultimately they come to us. And we do have a process which has remained the same. Have we fine-tuned it over the last couple of years? Yes, just to make sure that communication is right. One of the philosophies that I've always had for the last few years is everybody needs to be on board and aware when a student is placed at Alpha, and the correct paperwork needs to follow the action for the child. So there is never a question. The parent knows, everybody knows, and there's never a question. So we do, and that's why we do have a very, very strong intake process. And I always say every student in every program at Alpha has a meeting with me, with some kind of onboarding process, so there was never a question. We also have, at Alpha, we have the credit recovery program, which is the 11th and 12th grade students. Last year, we started taking students that were not necessarily 11th and 12th grade because the need was there for an alternate setting, and why not? And the other program we have is the Missouri Options program, which I'm so glad to report that this year I have 0 students who have gone through this program, because it is an added cost to the district. And every year within the last 5 years, the number of students that have had to use Missouri Options as a means to earn their high school diploma has reduced each year. Not to knock it, but that goes to, I say that to say our credit recovery program has gotten even stronger, and we have more avenues of encouraging students to earn that 25 credits they need to graduate. Also at Alpha, we have the Positive Alternative for Student Success, which is a very small room with a lot of programs. In addition to the long-term, which this time last year, the same board at the same meeting approved it. We fully implemented the Student Treatment Educational Program, which we have in collaboration with Preferred Healthcare. And then we have situations where the superintendent or the assistant superintendent can temporarily place the students in the PASS program for various reasons. And we do have them participating in some of our school-wide events that I feel applies to them, like when I have somebody coming in to speak, and I think that the topic applies to the students in the program, I do allow them to participate. Operation Backpack was written into that program as the service component of the program. And I will also say this as about Operation Backpack. At this point, as I stand right here talking to you, it's actually slowly becoming student-ran by our credit recovery program students at Alpha. They stock the inventory, they pack the bags, they stock it again, and make sure that it's ready for the schools. And that was a goal that I had when I came 5 years ago, was I wanted that program to be student-ran. And we are almost there. I wouldn't say 100%. So let's talk the STEP program right now. I felt that there was a need to know, since this time last year, this board approved it. So far we have, and that number changed since I wrote that, we have 17 students between the middle and the high school that have opted into the STEP program. And let's just say preferred family health is busy in our building. Our schedule still remains the same. We fully implement Canvas with, and we branch into Ingenuity for a couple of courses that we cannot implement through Canvas, but that was a goal that we had, and we are actually there at this time. Our partners and wraparound services are provided by, our ESCs, the school student resource officers. I'd say we have the best that I've seen in the 3 districts I've worked. Compass Health, they're in and out of our building. I talked about Preferred Health Youth in Need, because we do have a growing number. We've had quite a few teen parents, and Youth in Need has been very helpful with that and providing resources. We have the Back Pocket Program, and the U.S. Army National Guard is, of course, a great partner of ours. Our partnership with the ELPS is still going strong, and this year we continued something we started last year, which was the Warrior Buddy Program. Special thanks to our transportation department. They hosted a student, and Early Childhood has hosted a student. Warrior Ridge did host a student, and currently, and this one is a big win for us. Rebecca Boone is hosting a student that's actually ELL, and she's going there to support 8 ELL kindergartners. And she goes there, the students, oh my God, this is probably the hardest working student I've seen. She goes there once a week like builders, and she's really, really offering support to them. Also, Alpha Academy has remained a spin club, a 4-H spin club, and our gardening program is going strong and heavy. Our partnership with Extension is going strong and heavy. A few pictures of our patrons and friends. Like I said, the Elks Lodge, one of my favorite service that we do every year is the Thanksgiving Turkey Drive. Thanks to every department that donates turkeys. Last year, we were able to serve 11 families. This year, we were able to serve 15 families with a package of full Thanksgiving dinner where they could present a Thanksgiving dinner to their families. And our tradition with the Extension Office is still going, like I said before. More moments with Alpha, and yes, we were nice this year because Santa showed up. Santa showed up to Alpha Academy, so I guess we made it to the nice list.
That was me. I had fun doing that.
We made it on the nice list and, special thank you. And the event that I like to call the most wonderful time of the year, of course, is our exit ceremony. As I speak to you right now, we have about 39 students who will be exiting, and we're expecting more. I could not express how much of a blessing it's been. We have a great team, and I always say this is not a team that just happened to be at Alpha Academy. This is a team that shows Alpha Academy. Mrs. Nave, the counselor, I often introduce her to students as, take a good look at her face, she will be your best friend. Mrs. Schaefer, the 11th grade teacher, I often describe her as that one teacher that gets the kids to fall in love with school again. Mrs. Karen Brock is the face of Alpha. She's the administrative secretary assistant, and she comes in there, she welcomes the kids, and all anxiety just drops when you meet Mrs. Karen Brock. And I like to call her, they call her Mrs. Buskin, but I call her Deputy Buskin. The kids get in there, I mean, and it's almost like a ceremony when the kids go from the 11th grade classroom. They don't want to leave because they just love Miss Schaefer. I was like, no, you need to get in there because that's the person on your last exit. She's going to get you to the exit. And she goes in there, and they all build. The biggest highlight of Alpha is the relationship with the kids. And everybody has their strength, and they all build great relationships with the kids. I can only expect greater things to come out of Alpha with the team there and with the new principal coming in. With that said, I didn't want to read about what's you. So do we have any questions?
I have one question. In the PASS program, what grade does that serve?
PASS has served middle and high school.
That's what I thought. But, I mean, we talked about the 11th and 12th graders at Alpha, but PASS goes to middle school as well.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
PASS.
available.
Yes.
And I'll just remind you that you can also pass this on to the new people, because I know you
Yes.
with people.
Yes.
I also sit on the Quiver River Roundup Board, so if there's ever a grant that you guys need for any of your programs out beyond the money that you get through the programs here, I know that we're always passing something. Some schools ask for money for their backpack program or their Thanksgiving dinner, or whatever if you need a grant, please go to the Quiver River Electric page and sign up for that, and you'll let me know ahead of time before you present your grant to them, then I'll fight for it, because they're fantastic. We give away this morning we gave away $36,000. It was $67,000 request, but we had 36 to give out. They do great work. We meet once a month, so. But anything that you can see outside of the need for your program too, I'm always trying to get someone here. I give away a lot of money every month to other programs, and I'm sure like to benefit our kids too, if they can see something they need.
Thank you.
I don't know that I've got any questions, but knowing that this is your last presentation in front of the board, on behalf of the board, I would like to say thank you for all you've done as well. It's very evident you are very passionate about this, and we definitely appreciate that. I would say the entire district appreciates what you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. K has a financial update next, I believe.
All right, we'll run through this. Okay, so year-to-date revenues are tracking behind from where we go. The expenses are pretty close to the same. The revenue's definitely behind. You can kind of see that in our chart there. Normally we have a little uptick in February, but that didn't happen this year. But just for frame of reference, we had about the same dollar amount in the bank as we so that really kind of threw us off. Delinquent taxes are really impossible to project. But when you just look at what we received last year and what we received this year, it is definitely down. And hopefully they'll just get caught up throughout the next couple months, maybe people just pay them later. So that is down, on that front. The state itself is also behind on, their payments by about 5%. So that's about another $500,000 roughly. So where we thought we would be this time of year is about $1 million behind. The state hopefully will just make that up toward the end of the year, but we just haven't seen the SAT get to the full funding number yet. And that's not uncommon. It's just, I was kind of expecting to get a little closer than where we are now on it. So we'll see where that lands. Hopefully those two things work out. And so instead of seeing kind of the flat line, that being kind of higher mark, maybe we won't see such a slope down. We'll kind of see how it plays out. But I'm still kind of projecting this to be around 33, 34, 35% at the end of the year. So next month we'll be doing the budget, and then it'll give us a little bit tighter look at the end of the year. Okay, so